1993, I'm like, okay, I need to do something. I need that punctuated equilibrium, right? I need a dramatic event in order to promulgate like the next period of growth or evolution or whatever.
So you really actively thought that way?
Yeah.
You were trying to achieve growth?
Yeah, I didn't want to stagnate. I didn't want to fall behind, you know. As like I guess as soon as I figured out what life authorship was, or the concept, even though I may have not have known the term, yeah, I kind of endeavored to actively author my own life. You know, pursuing the ends of making a life that kept me engaged, kept me interested, and was meaningful to me, you know. So the military seemed like more and more like a viable option for that next page, that next step. So I at the time, like 1993, there wasn't a lot of books out about special operations, and pretty much the only ones that were out there were like Vietnam dudes. So I devoured every, you know, Vietnam War special operations book, whether it was like LRPs, Rangers, SEALs, SF, whatever.
Had Dick Marchenko written his books yet?
That I don't know. I don't think so, because I think I would have remembered reading them. I read one of them when I was in Gulag in Ranger School, and it seemed kind of like over the top to me. But that's a digression. I think there was one book out about like the SOF experience during the first Gulf War, and they kind of went over different units and different operations. And I think that's the only kind of contemporary one that I was even out. But it's like, yeah, I'm going to do this. So while we're in San Francisco, you know, between like dropping acid and taking mushrooms, I was going to the recruiter. And like, I went to the Navy recruiter first because I actually knew someone who was a SEAL, or a former SEAL. And so that seemed intriguing to me. So I go to the Navy recruiter, and I'm like, hey, I want to be a SEAL. And they're like, well, here, take the ASVAB. So the ASVAB is like this IQ test that the military gives you. And so I took it, and I scored pretty high on it. And so they're trying to push me into like more technical MOSs, you know? And I'm like, but no, that's not what I want.
What does MOS stand for?
Oh, sorry. If I get too jargony,
that's okay.
Please stop me.
Yeah.
Military occupational specialty, your job. Mm-hmm. And the Navy doesn't even call it MOS. I think they call it rate or something like that. And so I'm like, no, I didn't want to do that. So basically it came down to they couldn't even promise me a shot at trying out for buds, you know, taking the PT test basically. And so I didn't know really anything about the military, but I knew enough, or I suspected enough that like, okay, I'm not going to sign anything unless I'm like guaranteed a shot. And so that's when I started talking to the Army recruiter, and they could guarantee me. So basically they gave me a Ranger contract. So Ranger Regiment's interesting in that it's pretty much the only special operations unit in the U.S. military that has privates, like has brand new soldiers. Pretty much every other unit, it's all NCOs. So that's kind of your entry level soft unit in the U.S. military is Ranger Regiment.